everyone, welcome back once again to my YouTube channel. Gifty is here again with an exciting content today. As I promised that I will be bringing to you how to write a Canadian Standard CV so that if you are applying for your job from back home or you are in here as a student, as a visitor, and you are applying for jobs, at least you can tailor your CV to suit the Canadian standard, because I see to it that mostly your CV is what is selling you out, okay? Because most of the employers don't know you, don't know your skills. So if your resume is very catchy and it meets the standard of the country that you are actually applying for the job, then you would definitely stand out. So for today's content, if this is something that you are interested in, please don't go anywhere. Don't skip this video. Watch till the very end. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel, like all my videos, and also share as well. Okay, so moving to today's content, what I'll be talking about is how to structure your CV to meet the Canadian standard. Okay, the Canadian standard CV is actually not different from what we usually write back home. It entails all the things that we usually write, the headings that we usually write back home, but then there are one or two things that should be included and that shouldn't be included. So today I will put you through the things that is needed in the Canadian Standard CV and the things that shouldn't be included in the Canadian Standard CV. I actually spoke with my manager on this. I asked him what they expect in a resume, and she actually gave me all these tips. That is why I am here to give you. So whatever tips that I'm coming to give to you today is from a Canadian employer, so you are one step ahead. So guys, let's get started into the video. Okay guys, so what is a Canadian Standard CV? A Canadian Standard CV is a CV that is recognized in Canada, okay, for employment. So a Canadian Standard CV is just a CV that is recognized in Canada and that is structured according to the Canadian Standard CV, as you always say. So for Canadian Standard CV, what shouldn't be included in a Canadian Standard CV? The first thing that shouldn't be included in the Canadian Standard CV is 1. You should not bring a picture on your CV. No photo on your CV, okay? So avoid putting pictures on your CV. The second thing that you should also avoid is your email. Your email shouldn't be anything that is jovial or that is unprofessional. So let's say your email will be like samtuga@gmail.com or sikamanpower. All those things shouldn't be included on your CV. It should be professional. So your email should be professional. Maybe you use your first name, then your second name. So maybe Gifty, you can say giftyaj@gmail.com, okay? So that is it. It should be professional. You shouldn't use any nicknames or jovial names for your professional email. It should be professional, okay? The next thing that I'm going to talk about is your LinkedIn profile. Sometimes your social media profiles like Facebook, TikTok, and Snapchat, all those things shouldn't come on your CV. If you have any link or website that you have a profile there and you want the manager to go there and read more about your skills, it is better you use your LinkedIn account. That is the only thing that you can provide on your Canadian Standard CV. Apart from that, you did not include any link of your social media like Facebook or Instagram or those things. Okay, it's only your LinkedIn link that you can provide on your Canadian Standard CV. Okay, so the other thing that you shouldn't bring on your Canadian Standard CV is a reference. Okay, you don't have to bring a reference on the Canadian Standard CV. They would provide you to give reference when later in the hiring process. So you don't need to provide any reference nor state reference available on request. Okay, so you shouldn't provide reference, and it's fine not to also say reference available on request. That is what the manager told me. But for me, when I was even applying for my jobs, I actually brought reference available on request. Okay, but so either you bring it or not. I think all what you need not to do is that do not bring any reference details on your resume. Okay, so these are one or two things that you should watch out and to avoid in your Canadian Standard CV. So let's move to things that you should include in your Canadian Standard CV. The first thing that you should include is your name, your phone number, your email, and your address. Okay, you have to make sure that it contains your profile or professional summary, your skills, your education, and your work experience. Okay, and also if you have any other information, of which I will mention all this information later in the end of the video. Okay, so these are the things that you should make sure that it comes on your Canadian Standard CV. One thing that you should also bring on it, especially when you are in Canada and you need the job, you should make sure that you bring your availability. Is very, very important. Your availability. So you have to let them know you are coming in for a full time, maybe all day, overnight, or part-time. Then you bring the time that you can start, not really the date, but the time, maybe 8 o'clock a.m. too. So you have to bring all this availability on your resume. And mostly what I would do is that I'll make it, if I know that I can come morning, you make it morning. If it is evenings, if it is overnight, you just make sure that you write maybe full-time overnight, full-time mornings, full-time evening, or part-time morning, evening, or overnight. Okay, so these are the things that should be included in the Canadian Standard CV. Okay, at this point, if this video has been helpful to you so far, please don't forget to like this video for me. It always encourages me to bring to you more content. Okay, so please like this video right now, and let's move on to how to structure the Canadian Standard CV. Like right now, like. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and let's keep this family growing. All right, so let's move on to how to structure your Canadian Standard CV. The first part of your Canadian Standard CV should be your personal details. Okay, and the personal details should include your name. So you should first bring your name on the CV boldly, then you move on to your address. From your address, you come to your email address as well, and you move on to your number, then your phone number or your home number, you bring it on. Then you can move on to your website. If you have a LinkedIn and you have actually structured the profile there very nicely, you can bring the link on your CV. Okay, so this is the first part about personal information. You shouldn't bring anything like your age, your ethnicity, your family, or whatsoever. Those things should be out. Okay, so these are the only things that you should include when it comes to your personal information. So from there, you come to your objectives, okay, or your profile, professional summary. So this is just a concise or a summary of you, about you. the work experience you have, what you have been able to achieve so far, and what you can bring to the on board. Okay, what you can bring on board. So maybe you are a dedicated individual, and as I always say, if you are not going in for a professional job, like you are not holding a professional certificate, especially maybe if you hold you are just schooling and you need it for a part-time job, you don't have any certifications for the job that you want to apply to, I don't think you should make it a dedicated professional. If you are a professional, that means you have that kind of hand-on experience. Okay, so it is better to make it a dedicated individual. Okay, but if you know that you hold more certification, maybe you've completed your college and you need a job for your postgraduate work permit, or maybe you are applying from back home and you are more satisfied, like you hold the certifications for the job you are applying to, then why not? You can make it a dedicated professional. Okay, but apart from that, it is nice to make it a dedicated individual with maybe 2 years experience in customer service or sales or this that. Okay, so you should bring your work experience in what. Okay, and then you can move on to tell to write that you have this experience and this experience, and you've been able to maybe probably achieve this. With this, you are committed to bring such skill to help maybe build the image of the company or something. So it's just a professional summary. Okay, just a small sentences about yourself, your work experience, what you've been able to achieve so far, your skills, and what you can bring to the company or on board. Okay, so that is just something about your professional summary. Then after your professional summary, if you know that you don't have any work experience, then what should come next is your education. But maybe you have work experience, especially when it is related to the job more, then your work history or your work experience should come before your education. So the next thing after your objectives or your professional summary should be your education or your work experience, depending on what you hold. Okay, so maybe you are a professional, you have a work experience. Okay, so therefore the next one should be your work experience. Okay, and if it is your education, you just left school or you don't have more experience on the job, or this is one thing, or maybe in the job description they stated that maybe they need someone from secondary school leaver. Do you get it? That means it is more specific in the job description, so you can bring your education first. So what is included in the section of the education, what you should include is your facility you completed your school in, okay, or you are yet to complete. Okay, and it should come in a chronological order. The current one first. So maybe I'm currently studying at AB college, then maybe you have to bring AB college, then you bring your program of study. Is it past or is it present? Then you can write the date, maybe from 2023 till date. Okay, then you can bring it there. Then you move on to your previous education. So maybe it's a secondary school, so therefore you bring it, maybe this college, the program that you studied, or the major or the discipline, you bring it, then you can bring the date. So that is what should be included in the education section. And I see this to be useful if you know maybe you have PhD or you have masters, then it is fine not to bring your JHS. Okay, it's not necessary because you have moved ahead. But maybe you just in your tertiary, then you can bring your basic education, so that you have at least 3 columns. Okay, with that is what you have to bring when you are writing something about your educational background. Okay, so after the educational background, you can come to your work history. Okay, or your work history can also come before that, as I mentioned earlier. So let's say your work history follows. Your work history is something very, very important. Guys, you have to listen to this part very well. It's very, very important. Your work history should be chronological order. Okay, so let's say your current one should come first before the subsequent one, as you did for the education. So if you are currently working in this company, it should come first before the past one. If you recently left that company, it should come first before the subsequent one. Okay, so let's say, for example, we are using 2021, 2022 and 2023. So 2023 should come, then 2022 follows, then 2021 will follow. So it should be in that order. Okay, it shouldn't start from the old one before it comes to the current one. The current one first before you come down to the old work experience. Okay, the second thing that should be included is that your work experience should make sure that you tailor it to the job description. Make sure you are using the words in your job description to fit that of your work experience. So maybe they stated in the job description that maybe you'll be responsible to receive telephone calls. What should come in your work experience should let the employer know that you have been able to, or in your past experience, you received calls from maybe customers, or you solve customer inquiries on phone. So do you get it? It relates to what they are actually saying. Okay, so that is how you can tailor your job description to your work experience in your resume. So maybe they are expecting you to clean the environment. Okay, so you have to state in your job experience that maybe in your past role you assisted in cleaning the environment. Okay, so maybe point 1, assisted in cleaning the environment. Make sure that infection is under control. Okay, so that is how you are relating what they need in the job description to your past experience. Okay, that is how it should link. So what they need, you should let the employer know that yes, you have actually had experience in that. So you have assisted in this, you maintain this. Do you get it? So it should be in relation. So how to structure the work experience part? You have to first bring your company name first. So maybe AB Company Limited or whatsoever, you just bring it there. Then you come with your rank or your role there. So maybe if you were a staff nurse, or you were a customer service representative, a sales representative, you bring it there. So your company and your position. Okay, then the start date and the end date. If it is your current company, then you can also bring your start date. Then you can say maybe 2023 to current or till date. Okay, then you bring it as well. Another thing that you should also do is that you have to bullet it. Okay, and make sure that you do not bring any irrelevant work experience which is not related to the job. So maybe if you have like 10 responsibilities and 5 of them is not actually related to the job post, don't waste your time to bring it on the resume, because it will actually make no sense on your resume to the employer. Okay, so that is basically about the work experience. After that, you can come to your subsequent position or your subsequent role. All right, then you move ahead like that. So with the work experience, if you know you don't have any work experience and you've done any voluntary jobs, okay, voluntary work, which is not under even any employer. Maybe you did it in the home and it's actually related to the job post. Why not? Maybe you want to apply for a part-time PSW job as a student, and maybe you've taken care of your granny or your mother, your sick mother, or your sick grandpa or whosoever. It is a work experience. Maybe you've provided shower for the person, you fed the person, you kind of care for the person, hair and all these things. Is a personal support job. So if it is voluntary, you can still bring it as a work experience, and it actually relates to the job post, because that is actually what you're gonna do in that job. All right. So one thing about Canadian employers is that they also need voluntary work. So if you bring a job responsibility that is voluntary, it also add value to your resume. Okay, then we can move on to your skills. So if it is your work experience that came first, then you come to your education before your skills. So you move on to your skills. So with your skills, we have two types of skills. We have the hard skills and the soft skills. So when we say soft skills is any general skills that everybody can do. So let me say you have a good communication skills. Everybody can say, oh, I have a good communication skills. Okay, maybe good interpersonal skills. All these are soft skills. Good team player, they are all soft skills. But what are hard skills? Hard skills are skills that are unique, okay, that are exceptional. So maybe you are good in Microsoft Excel. It is a hard skill. Maybe you are good in forklift. You have forklift experience. You are good in nail care. All these things are hard skills. It is very difficult for somebody to also get these skills. So that is the reason why we are saying hard skills. Okay, so that is basically about the skills. And with your skill, make sure that you are using the words that is in the job description. So if they are saying that they need somebody who can communicate well, you have to make sure that you bring in it good communication skills or excellent communication skills. So if they need somebody with good interpersonal skills, good team working skills, make sure you are using that same word, team working skills, in your CV. I know teamwork means collaboration, team collaboration, but don't go and use team collaboration. Okay, use the team working skills. They mentioned the teamwork. Use that same thing, so it should relate to it, because sometimes, especially when you are applying online, sometimes they will use ATS to filter their resumes before it is sent to the employer. Like the job description tailored CVs are sent to the employer. So if you are not being able to tailor your words to that of the job description, your CV wouldn't even reach the employer. Okay, so it's actually good to always tailor the words that is needed for in the description in your CV. All right, so these are the two things. So make sure that you also bring more of the hard skills if you have it. All right, depending on the job description anyway. So that is about the skills. So from the skills, you come to other information. What are included in the other information? Your other information normally add value to your resume, in a sense that if you have any certifications that are actually needed for the role, maybe they even mentioned it in the job description. Maybe they need somebody with first aid or CPR, or maybe you need a factory job and you have done worker health and safety awareness certificate. You have that one, you can bring that certificate on it. So certification is part of the other information column. And if you have any awards that are actually related to the job, just like, for example, maybe they need good customer service skills, and you have received an award of a good or the best customer service rep for the year 2022, bring it on it. Okay, if it is any internship, training, awards, license that you have, kindly bring it on the other information section. If you have any hobbies that you feel like is also much needed or related to the job post, why not? You have to bring it on. Maybe you are applying for a kitchen role and you have the hobby or the interest in developing new recipes or cooking. It's actually related on it. You can bring it onto your resume as maybe your interest. All right, if you have any licensed certificates like TB, tuberculosis test, vulnerable sector check, you can also bring it on your resume. Then after the other information, you can come to your availability. So reference, no reference, you come to your availability, you provide your availability. If it's full-time, part-time, morning, evening, overnight, you can bring that on it. Okay, so briefly, this is how to structure your Canadian Standard CV. So it is quite different from what we usually write. So it starts with your personal information, then you come to your objectives, then you come to your education. From your education, you come to your work history, then your skills, then the other information. Then you can bring your availability to end it. So guys, I hope this video has been helpful so far. Always make sure that you tailor your job description to your resume. Always make sure that you avoid bringing all your pictures and all these things on your resume. Make sure you avoid bringing your references, and also make sure your profile is very, very catchy. All right, so guys, I would end here. If this video has been helpful so far, guys, please like it right now. This will encourage me to bring you more content, okay? And it will help YouTube to also recommend me for other people that will need this information as well. So guys, thank you for watching. I love you all. Please try as much as possible to read well to make sure that your CV is more catchy. All right, what I'll also end with is that please try and write a cover letter attached to your CV. And if you want content on how to write a cover letter, please leave it in the description and I'll prepare to bring it out to you so that you can actually stand out. The cover letter will tell the employer more about your skills that you couldn't even bring in your resume. Okay, so guys, I will end here. Have a happy new year. I wish you the very best in all that you pray for in this coming year. Thank you. Bye bye.